it every weekend. We're talking about you and it's bringing me down. And I know the neighborhood. The dog is cheaper when the story is good. And the Towns Motel on down the line. But I'm telling you, babe, that I don't think it's true, babe. And even if it is, keep this in mind. Hey guys, it is Carl Brown for GuitarLessons365.com. Continuing my REO Speedwagon weekend with a look at Take It on the Run, another great track by another great band that I have neglected for over a decade. So let's jump into it. Before I do, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and ring the notification bell so you know when I release a new video. I don't know why it works like that. You should just subscribe and they just let you know when I release a new video. Oh, whatever. A little mini rant. But anyway, also check out my Guitar Academy. You'll see the link in the description below. Contains all my guitar courses, covering everything from complete beginner stuff to more advanced courses in technique and improvisation and ear training and theory and guitar tone, many different styles. So please go check it out. All right, let's jump into this. So obviously this is on acoustic. I'm a little bit too lazy to switch back and forth between acoustic and electric since there's a lot of electric in the song too. So I'll kind of show you when I'm playing Kevin Cronin's part. He's pretty much doing the acoustic part, and then Gary Richrath is playing the electric stuff. So we're going to be doing the whole song, the chords, the solo, you name it. So hopefully you'll stick around. So let's jump into it. So we're going to start here with these opening chords. Just a G major chord. And then just take these two fingers that are on the A and the low E string and move them down one string. So that's now the 3rd fret on the A, 2nd fret there on the D. All right, so and that brings you to a C add 9 chord. So from there, you go to a D chord. Now you will hear some variations, especially when the electric part comes in there. You'll hear. You sometimes hear that, which is just a kind of like a pull off from the 3rd fret to the 2nd fret on the high E, just making it a D sus4, so a regular D chord. So that is in there. If you really want to bring it, it's mostly played on the electric guitar stuff. So we have this. So that goes back to that C chord. C add 9, back down to the G. So when he's by himself there before really the band kicks in, that's when he plays the progression like that. Heard it from a friend, heard it from a friend, heard it from another, you've been messing around. With hitting that C going back to the G, that's what I mean there, that little added chord in there. And then it does this kind of that D sus4 chord again, which is the D major chord with the 3rd fret there on the high E, and then resolve it back down to the D major chord. So that's a little transition when the band comes in on that chord. And then we have back to the same chords here again. You're up at every weekend, talking about you, it's bringing me down. So that one's a little bit different. It's just the G to the C, add 9, to the G, and you can do there, but it doesn't have that little C transition chord. It just goes straight back to the G. And then on the electric guitar, you hear this little fill. So that's going to be open G, hammer 2, back to the open G, and then the same thing on the D. Now I will say, Gary Richrath's part, when he's playing, he doesn't do that C add 9 on the electric. He's playing it. he's playing the standard C major chord there. So that C add 9 is really being played by Kevin Cronin on acoustic. So you can really kind of do any one you want there, what you like the sound of. But so basically the progression continues like that for a few times. They say you got a boyfriend, you're up at every weekend, they're talking about you and it's bringing me down. And I know the neighborhood talk is cheap, but when the story is good, it tells no taller on down the line. And I'm telling you, babe, that I don't think it's true, babe. And even if it is, keep this in mind. All right, so that last G chord, we have a little transition to the chorus, which looks like this. Take it on the run, baby, if that's the way you want it, baby, and I want you around. And I don't believe it, not for a minute. You're running alone, so you take it on the run. All right, so that right there, that little, it's kind of just G, then the F sharp here in the bass. So you just hit this thing on a little bass line from the 3rd fret on the low E to the 2nd fret, and then you get to an E minor chord. You take it on the run, baby. And then it goes to the C chord. Regular C chord, not the C add 9. So C major. If that's the way you want it, baby. Then it goes to a D major. So we have this. You take it on the run, baby. C. If that's the way you want it, baby. D major. I don't want you hanging around. That same little G, F sharp in the bass. Back to the E minor. So, I don't believe it. Back to the C, not for a minute. All right, too high to sing for me. And then it goes, just Peter Brady that thing. It's from the C major to the A minor. So that was a little added chord. So from that, instead of that C to the D, it goes C major. You're running the gun and you're taking on the run. And then it goes to that D, and then it stops for D. So the progression all together. You take it on the run, baby. If that's the way you want it, baby. Then I'll tell you hang around. I don't believe it, not for a minute. You're running a gun, so you take it on the run. All right, so from there we go back to the same verse and the same chorus again. And then we get to the solo. Now the solo has a different chord progression under it though. So let me play the chord progression under the solo for you first. So basically, I'm going to do that chord progression 4 times. It starts, the first half of the solo is that harmony section, and then the second, kind of the main solo starts. So we're going to start here with this E minor chord. Some pretty aggressive acoustic strumming going on it too, to a C major chord. To an A minor. And then back to the C pretty quick. So the kind of the timing of the chord changes. It gets a little bit more exciting. So we have like this. So after the second time I play in the C, you go to a B minor chord. And then, so that B minor, if you don't know that, so it's bar at the second fret. And then you're going to play the third fret on the B string, fourth fret on the G and the D, to a D major to end it. And repeat. All right, now let's do the solo real quick. Now the solo, once again, I got a little bit too lazy and just picked up my Strat because it's my favorite guitar. I should pick up the Les Paul because that's what he's playing, and he has 22 frets, which you kind of need for this solo, but I don't really care. I'm just gonna bend the crap out of it and get the same notes there. But it's a little bit easier on a Les Paul because you have an extra fret up there. But once again, too lazy to go grab it. So let's jump into it. Sounds like this. That was a mistake. I should have played a Les Paul. Anyway, so you get what I mean. It's some serious bending if you only have 21 frets. But we'll talk about that when we get there. So I'm on the neck pickup here, and I'm just doing like he would do live. So there's like 3 or 4 harmony lines going on here. So I'm just doing the top one, the highest one here, and that's what he does live as well too. So we had this first phrase. So that's kind of playing the 15th fret on the E string a few times. Then 14, 12, and then back to the 14 real quick. So we have this. Again. And then you go up to here. 17, back to 15, and back to 17. And then up to 20, and then 20, 19, 20, and then back to 19. So we had this. And then in the first one, with a bend at the 20th fret, up to the 22nd, to bend up to that D. All right, so then it starts out again with a little bit different ending. So that is going to start the same melody, and then he does a little variation of it. And that's picking it a few times again at 15, a bend and release on it, down to 14, and then back to 15. Just kind of hold that, and then back to the that same melody we did before, but now instead of doing a bend at the 20th fret, if you have 22 frets, grab the 22nd fret. I'm going to have to do it from the 21st, and then bend up a whole step to that E. So you want to sound an octave of that. All right, so that is the second ending there. All right, so that's a big bend for me. But if you have a 22 fretter or more, no big deal. All right, and then kind of the main solo, the harmony section ends, and the main solo sounds like this. At least that's the beginning of it. So we have kind of a big bend and release at the 17th fret on the B string. All right, now you're going to hammer on 15 to 17 on the B. And then over on the high E, play 15, hammer on 17, pull back off to 15. And then you're going to... So that's a whole step bend and release at that 17th fret. Pull off to 15, and then over to the 17 on the B string. So we have this. Then you pretty much do that lick again, but instead of being a whole step bend and release on the high E, it's a step and a half in. Little slight difference. So it looks like here's them both back to back. So you can hear the little difference there. And then the third time through, it starts the same. And then we had this. So he's just kind of bending it over and over again, just always picking it twice at the top of the bend and just repeating it. And that goes into this. Snap my strings off the guitar. Anyway, so what's going on there? So out of this, we go down here and do a bend at the 14th fret on the G string. So he's doing that bend, and then you're gonna hit double stops here at the B string and the high E together. Or if you like the sound of it better, you can hit each string individually. So you do that bend and then hold the double stop, but then pick the B and the high E. It's one of those licks that kind of sounds the same each way. So, but I'm gonna do it like it's a double stop. So I'm doing that bend on the G, and then playing the 12th fret there across the B and the high E a couple times. Repeat, repeat. That second time, the third time, I'm sorry, you're just going to be able to hit that double stop once. And then you go to this. So that's hitting each note twice here. You're going to go up the scale. 14 on the high E, then 15. Each one twice. 17, 19. And then, once again, from the 22nd fret, if you have it on your guitar, bend up to the E. And he's got some vibrato in there, so it really kind of makes it sound really on the edge, right? And then he bends over that. So that's just crazy on this guitar. But if you got a 22nd fretter, it's not a huge deal, but you just kind of just bend past it at the very end there. All right, I probably just threw everything out of tune on my guitar. So then we have just the chorus done a couple of times, so nothing different there. Straight into the chorus again. And then we have, so out of that chorus, we just have the outro, which is basically just like the intro to the song, just done once. That when he does the acoustic guitar, that. So that was that where you count that C add 9 on the way back to the G, and you just kind of resolved it from there. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's a great track from a great band, and it concludes my REO Speedwagon weekend. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for GuitarLessons365.com.